With us now via the phone is Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Arizona. And Sheriff, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
The Supreme Court has struck down 3 of the 4 key provisions of Arizona's controversial immigration law. You have been one of the champions of immigration law enforcement along the southern border. What is your reaction to the court's ruling?
Well, I'm glad they protected one section, but on the other hand, we've been doing this, my office, for 4 or 5 years, enforcing the state laws. So it's not going to make much of a difference with us how we do business fighting illegal immigration.
Now, the Obama administration said Monday, according to the Washington Times, that it is suspending existing agreements with Arizona police over enforcement of federal immigration laws, and said that it has issued a directive telling federal authorities to decline many of the calls reporting illegal immigrants that the Homeland Security Department may get from Arizona police. What do you make of this?
Well, I'm not too happy with this. I predicted that. What good is officers under the Supreme Court ruling to stop people on crimes and then determine if they're here illegally working with ICE if the federal government will not take them off the law enforcement's hands? So I have a concern about that, but I have a few strategies in mind if that happens with my organization, but it doesn't surprise me.
What does this move tell us about the mindset of the Obama administration?
Well, I don't like to use the word arrogant, but it looks like they're somewhat arrogant. They took me to court last month, federal court, after a 3.5-year investigation, stating that we systemically racial profile. And then the president comes up with the DREAM Act, knowing that the 1070 will be decided. So you can look at this as coincidental timing, or is it done for other reasons?
Sheriff, can you update us on the status of the Justice Department's lawsuit against you, and does the ruling today impact that?
I have no idea. The lawsuit is accusing me and my office of racial profiling. I'm not going to agree to turn over my office to the federal government. So they are taking me to court, and we'll let the courts decide who's right and who's wrong.
All right, getting back to the ruling, were you surprised that all the justices, both Democratic and Republican appointees, held that the mandatory immigration check requirement be permitted to take effect?
No, I'm not really surprised. We've been doing it for years. My office has. So I'm not surprised on that issue. People will say it's a victory for the federal government because of 3 other issues that were dismissed. But I think this is important to reaffirm what we've been doing for all these years. But the big picture now is what happens now. Will the government take these illegal aliens off the hands of my officers or the other police departments and deport them? That's the big issue.
Now, how do you think today's ruling will affect efforts in other states to respond to the problem of illegal undocumented workers?
I think other states will look at the big picture and get all facets of it, not just this one ruling. So we'll see how they react to this ruling.
Now, Justice Anthony Kennedy said it would be wrong for the government to rule on whether Hispanics would be profiled under the immigration check requirement until it becomes clear how the law is actually being enforced. What steps will your department take to steer clear of charges that people are being profiled based on ethnicity?
Well, I don't know. They're taking me to court, the Justice Department, on that issue. But when you look at training, we probably have the best trained agency in the country because ICE has trained 100 of my deputies and 100 of my officers in the jail for 5-week training. Who else can say that? So we're well trained. However, they took away my authority, the new administration, to enforce the federal immigration laws.
But will you be taking any additional steps in light of this ruling?
No, I'm going to keep doing what we've been doing. Nothing changes.
All right. Some say civil rights lawsuits are inevitable now that the provision requiring law enforcement officers to check someone's papers if they have reasonable suspicion of their legal status has been allowed to go forward. Does that concern you?
Well, they sue all the time. Every day they demonstrate in front of my building. The tents that I put up 20 years ago, to over 2,500, Saturday were demonstrated. Now that all at once they don't like the tents, what took them so long. So no, they sue me, they harass me, they call me every name in a book, they demonstrate against me, Sharpton, I can go on and on. They've been doing that for years against me, just because I'm doing my job. So I'm sure it's going to continue. They're going to find other reasons now with this Supreme Court ruling to go after me, but that's okay.
Sheriff, what would you like to see the Obama administration do on immigration moving forward in light of the Supreme Court's ruling? Well,
I spent 12 years as a top guy. I was a director of Mexico City, South America for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Justice Department, plus Texas and Arizona. It's really funny. Nobody asked my advice in my other life. I'm not talking about 20 years as the sheriff, but I had my ideas if I was president how to solve the problem. And what I'm concerned about, that this is just a road to amnesty. This is the ultimate goal of the White House. So we have to watch that and see how that progresses, and every little step they're taking, one by one, they're chipping away, all geared to have amnesty.
All right, Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Arizona, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Bye.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.